So if you forced me to make $40,000 in the next 2 weeks, and all I had was either $0 or at least a $500 a month budget, this is exactly how I'd make 40 grand in the next 2 weeks wholesaling real estate. The truth is, it is completely possible. This is not a day trading scam, some crypto, Amazon FBA. This is a real legitimate way how you, with no money at all, can run up 40 grand legally in the next 30 days without any money at all. Now, obviously, a $500 a month budget makes life a lot easier, but there are multiple ways to get into this. And so let's break this all down right here. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Zach Ginn. I've done over 3,000 wholesaling real estate deals. And your biggest question right now, if you don't know who I am, is what is wholesaling real estate? Well, to make this really, really simple, wholesaling real estate is just 3 parties in a transaction. So think of the 3 parties right here. First and foremost, we have what we call the seller, we have the buyer, and we have you, the middleman. And pretty much all you do here is you go deal with the seller directly. You will either write a contract to buy the house, and then you go sell that contract that you just wrote to buy the house to a rich landlord, and you sell the contract for a nice $40,000 check. So the average wholesaling real estate works is I find somebody who wants to sell their beat up, ugly house. I write a contract, a little piece of paper saying that I agree to buy this person's house, let's say for $100,000. I then am going to sell that contract for $140,000 to the buyer. The cool part is I'm selling the contract. I'm not selling the house. I'm not buying or selling the house. There was no money exchanged to the seller and or from the buyer to me. What happened was I just sold this piece of paper. The buyer goes, buys the house from the seller for that full $140,000. So if I write a contract for $100,000, I go to the buyer and say, hey, you want to buy the sucker for $140,000? They say, sure. So they agree to pay $140,000 for this contract. $40,000 goes to me in a check, and $100,000 goes to seller to buy their house. Now, the reason why we can do this is we wholesale the house, right? Which means we get it under contract for a really, really, really good price. And then we sell it to a discount still to the cash buyer, which basically means we buy low and we sell a little bit higher. We don't try to oversell it for too much money. We do it basically how Costco does things. Costco will buy eggs for an insanely low price, then sell to you at the lowest price possible. And me as the buyer at Costco, right? I'm buying something maybe for $100 that if I went to Walmart or Publix or Kroger, it might be $150. So Costco buys at a deep discount and then sells at a discount. They still sell it to the end buyer for a discount. That's why everyone loves Costco. We still sell the contract for a really good price, but we do a job of writing the contract for even the best price possible. So that's a quick one-on-one lesson on wholesaling real estate. Now, how do you do this without any money? Obviously, we're not buying or selling the house, so all we need is a paper and go sign it, right? Cool part is we can do this virtually also. So let's break that down first. So I'm gonna catch you up to speed on wholesaling. I'm gonna assume that you learned the beginner lesson and you kind of understand something about wholesaling. If you don't know anything I just said, I do highly recommend you join my free wholesaling course, freewholesaling.com. That's my free mentorship course and all those programs. And again, guys, I'm not here to say no mentorship program, anything like that. Is absolutely for free. I just don't have the 25 hours to teach you right now how to do it. But you'll get the basics and grasp everything right there, how to wholesale. But assuming you know some stuff, you got no money, and you're virtually doing this around the world, your first step, and honestly, this is what I do when I have no money, I would just pull my list of the month. And I might be like, Zach, what in the world is the list of the month? Well, watch out, I'm about to plug something real quick. Freewholesaling.com. Every single month, I pull 2 lists. I skip trace it using X leads, and I give it to the community absolutely for free. These are what I call my list of the month. I go to X leads, which is the best wholesaling software. I pull a list from X leads. I skip trace it, and I give it to you guys absolutely for free. And then what I do is I pull a government list from any city in the United States. I import the data, I skip tracing, and then I give it to you guys for free. So technically you get 2 lists of the month every single month. What I do is to go to freewholesaling.com and pull the list of the month that I have. That should provide you around 7,000 phone numbers, which is a lot of numbers. So just make sure you go to freewholesaling.com and go get that data set. And I'll tell you why it's important to do this in the beginning. But number 2 here is we're gonna post 2 digital bandit signs a day. And basically what a digital bandit sign is you making a post in a massive Facebook group of 30, 40, or 50,000 people telling them that you're looking to buy properties in the area for cash. Now, again, I teach this for free on wholesaling.com, but we're really going to target Facebook ads and make these posts in here, which I teach how to do for free. You're going to do Facebook groups, and you're going to use AI to create a picture to grab the most engagement. Now, this is when we start getting into some more implementation here, but I'm going to take this list of 7,000 phone numbers for the month, and I'm going to email blast them. And more specifically, right, we don't have too much time. We only have 2 weeks. I'm going to email about 1,000 sellers a day using what I call my EOG system. Now, again, EOG systems taught absolutely for free in freewholesaling.com. I know, what a shocker. But basically what my EOG system stands for, it's my email offer generator system, which means you can go get a list of all the phone numbers. Also, emails are included with the phone numbers, and you can go use Gmail and Google Sheets, get them connected, which I showed freewholesaling.com how to do. You just have to download the special software that the Google developers made, connect it to your Google account, and you're going to be able to send over 1,000 emails every single day. You might need multiple Google accounts, but that's fine. It's still very free to do. And you're going to be able to email blast offers to motivated sellers to get inbound leads onto your phone, which is pretty dang cool. Now we're starting to get some leads. Now we're starting to get a little hot. Guys, remember 2 weeks, we got to keep blasting this stuff out. On top of that too, I'm also going to focus on making at least 100 calls and texts a day. And I'm going to be using Google Voice here, which means we have to have a rule because we have no money. You can only send 10 per hour. So we're going to do this for about 10 hours a day. But every single hour, we're going to be able to send about 10 text messages per hour for 10 hours. 10 times 10 equals 100. So that's how we're going to make our 100 texts. And we're going to do about 10 calls per hour for 10 hours. I know that sucks, but make your 10 calls, make our timer go back. You just don't want to be labeled spam from Google Voice, because that's the free calling software and texting software we're going to use here, because again, we're balling on a budget here to get that data set. Now, do you see how I'm not making you go to truepeoplesearch.com or cyber background checks like you've seen in some previous videos? There's not really a point when I provide free lists every single month that change. So be very careful. I do drop this every single month, so I don't say exactly when I drop it, so you have the advantage for whoever's most engaged in the community group at freewholesaling.com. But I do drop them every month, so be on the lookout. Again, here we're going to be using Google Voice for this. And then number 5 here, we're going to be JVing using what I call the ICAG method. Now you might be like, Zach, what in the world is the ICAG method? So the ICAG method stands for I know a guy. And basically, think about the earlier example I used to explain wholesaling. There are, again, 3 principal parties in this transaction. There is wholesaler A, and then there's wholesaler B. And then you in the middle is going to be you. Now, all you have to do is just be in any of our communities, zachdiscord.com, freewholesaling.com, right? And what you're going to do is just connect wholesaler A to wholesaler B. And you're going to be the conduit between both of them. So you're basically going to get paid to connect people. You're kind of like a wingman for wholesaling real estate deals. Let me explain. So wholesaler A has this contract that they signed, right? Nice contract, but for some reason, they just can't sell the deal. Maybe they're new, they don't have any buyers. Maybe it's an area they've never done, but wholesaler A can't find a cash buyer to dispo their deal. Man, that's a big problem for wholesaler A. Wholesaler B has another problem where they have this nice, big, fancy CRM with like 100 cash buyers, and they just can't sell enough wholesaling deals. Like, of course, they're rich, they're making a lot of money, but they have way more buyers than they know what to do with, and he can't send enough deals to his buyers. This guy has a cash buyers problem. Well, what you do is you connect these 2 guys together. Say, hey, I know a guy, ICAG, that has a ton of buyers. Is it okay if we connect and JV together? He might be like, what's a JV? What does that mean? Well, how you describe it is, well, here's what I propose. Let's sign an agreement to joint venture and partner up on this deal. The partnership states that you will get 50% of the assignment fee if we can provide a cash buyer to you. In exchange, I'll get 25% of the deal for connecting you guys, and then the wholesaler B will get 25% for getting it on there. And I mean, now you might be like, Zach, why would Wholesaler B take this? Well, Wholesaler B didn't have to call the seller. Wholesaler B didn't have to spend any money in marketing. Wholesaler B didn't have to go out to the house or send an offer or do any of the acquisitions costs. They're literally just providing buyers that they have just sitting in their CRM that they don't need to use at all. So I win by knowing both people. He wins by providing the buyer. He wins by getting the contract, and everyone becomes happy. Because if you end up doing let's use that $40,000 deal, for example, this guy's going to end up making 20K. You're going to make 10 grand for just connecting these people. And then Wholesaler B is just going to make another 10 grand for doing nothing. Now, maybe $10,000 isn't a lot of money to you, but I don't say no to 10 grand. It's hard to say no to a $10,000 deal. We also provide our JV agreements for free inside of our free wholesaling course. Should I say it again? freewholesaling.com. So you could start using that agreement and JVing just like this. This is what the ICAG method is. And if you just hang out in our communities, right? ZachDiscord.com and freewholesaling.com. We have new wholesalers or rich wholesalers, people looking to connect. It's the largest wholesaling community out there, and we host it in our Discord and in our free school group, freewholesaling.com. That's where you can get all the community of wholesaler A's and wholesaler B's out here, where you can be the person in the middle introducing both of you guys out here. Now, the way I would actually start doing the ICAG method as a beginner wholesaler, remember, you don't even need to do one wholesaling deal to be able to start doing these type of deals. You just got to know people. I know a guy. So what I would do is I would try to DM at least 30 people a day inside the communities, 30 DMs a day. And I would try to get on the phone and call at least 3 people a day, because the real networking connection doesn't come from texting or messaging on a board. It's from actually calling and building that connection. Also, same thing when it comes to closing sellers. I think if you don't know what you're doing, in 2 weeks, you can find at least 1 or 2 of these ICAG method deals. And the point of how I benefit is people in the community that can't sell deals are going to always be able to dispo, and people who have buyers are always going to be rewarded and make passive income from being in the community. Plus, that's pretty cool. Everyone's making money together. It's a win-win-win for me. Now, that's what I'd do if I was absolutely broke. Again, it's a little more manual. It's a little daunting, it seems, but you only need about 20, 30 hours a week to make this work. I mean, I'd probably want to do 50 or 60 hours, but you could absolutely crush it doing this. Now, if I had a little bit more money, I could probably do this way easier. And I'll be straight up with you. Like, there's just one thing I would do. Like 40 grand, 2 weeks. I'm going to make this simple, $500 budget, turn 500 bucks into 40 grand. Number one, I'm not going to use the list of the month because it does get a tad saturated. What I'm going to do is pull the government lists of every single government list in my local market, right? This is for local wholesaling, right? These are going to be the probates, the code violations, the liens, the pre-foreclosures, etc. Like, I mean, you get it, right? What I'm going to do is take all the government lists and I'm going to put it, and I'm going to call my triple tap system. Now, this is a system I use in my wholesaling software, X Leads, then that really crushes it. But you don't even need to buy X Leads to start using this system, right? It's a system we use in our CRM Ninja mode. But the basic premise of the system, of course, you can use this for any other wholesaling software. I mean, I do recommend X Leads, but let me show you what I mean here is you take all the government data and you hit them with 3 taps. Now, this is old Call of Duty Zombies reference, right? Boom, 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 double tap, triple tap, Nuka-Cola, right? Whatever that is, but you're gonna hit them with 3 attacks. So tap 1, you got tap 1, tap 2, and tap 3. So you hit them first and foremost with a call, a text, and then a sticky note. So we're gonna take, let's say, 500 probates, right? We're gonna call the entire list of 500 probates. Now again, I use the X Leads dialer inside of Ninja mode because it's the best and cheapest. Then after that, anybody that doesn't pick up the phone, we're gonna hit them with a text blast. Texts are under a penny each, so that's pretty cool. And then everyone that doesn't answer the call or answer the text, we're actually gonna physically pull up on their house and put a sticky note there. Remember, if we had, quick math here, if we had 500 probates, right, and we had a 20% response rate, that means we go from 500 to 400 texts. And then if we had a 20% response rate, that means we'd do 500 calls, 400 texts, and 320 sticky notes. Now, you can replace this with email blasting if you want, but this is one of the most surefire ways to get wholesaling deals really, really quick. It doesn't take too much time because you click a button, right? There's a quick automation inside of X Leads. You just press triple tap and boom, you're good to go. Now, I'll tell you the truth here. Again, the budget for this is only about 97 bucks. because you are getting X leads. And the reason why I want you to use X leads is because it comes with about $1,000 a month of software just for only $100. Remember, you get 15,000 skip traces with that plan. So you get free unlimited skip tracing up to 15,000 phone numbers and emails for free included. You're able to use the SMS Blaster for really cheap. You can pull a ton of awesome lists. You can use it to comp your properties as a built-in dialer in the CRM. Best CRM out here. You can e-sign if you're virtual. It's also got all the cash buyers for you. So if you're doing the ICAG method, right, you can literally just pull all the top landlords and flippers right there, get them skip traced and call them up. I mean, Xleads literally has all this stuff. And you can literally do all this stuff for the triple tap system. Now, I would put like a phantom tap, right? So you do have a ALT, which is, I call my alternate. You can email blast instead within Xleads if you are virtually and you don't want to do sticky notes. I do recommend you do the sticky notes over everything else. You can even do a quadruple tap. It doesn't really roll off the tongue as easy, but you could do that too. And on top of that too, number two, I would just do the ICAG method because you can use Xleads for the Dispo. Now, the most important reason why I recommend you use Xleads also is because it's basically a free e-signing service, so you don't have to spend 30 or 40 bucks a month on an e-signature company. And so when you're doing e-signatures on JV agreements, right here when you e-sign on the ICAG method, you don't have to spend the 30, 40 bucks a month because e-signing is included. Now, I don't know why I put a $500 budget because you only need like 150 bucks, right? Because it might be 30 or 40 bucks of dialing and texting, but that's literally all included right here. So screw that. I mean, let's just call it a $150 a month budget. And I feel like I'm promoting Xleads just to promote it, but like if I had to use all these different softwares for it, I mean, it'd be at least $1,000 for the month. So if I only had 2 weeks to make $40,000, these are the two methods I'd be doing. But as you know, it all comes down to you doing the work. Choose whatever method's actually going to get you to start doing work and start having success. One costs some money, it's way easier. One's a little more difficult, but honestly, you can do each one or can make a combination of both. But as long as you're making the calls, the dials, the work, you're going to have success wholesaling real estate. Guys, if you got any value from this video, do me a favor, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, go to freewholesaling.com, and I'll see you soon. This is Zach Ginn signing out. Have a blessed one.